Okay, so this one is similar to question number 4. It says Lazy Den manufacturers sell its own furniture to clear out old stock. So what they're telling you is that your stock, it's reduced by 20% at the start of each week until all the stock is sold. The exponential function that models the price of a chair from the start of the sale is given by this equation. So what you always want to remember is that if you have an equation, we have C of t, that's one thing. So you want to start by labeling what the letters are, and that will make it easier for you to solve for this. Okay, so we have 2500, 0.8 to the power of t. So this C of t represents the cost of the chair at the end of the week. And then we know that T represents the time in weeks since the sale began. Time in weeks since sale began. So this is always your y-intercept value. So it's always going to be your a, b to the power of x. So the number in front of your b value, which is your base, is always your y-intercept value. So that's always your starting initial amount. So in this case, for question A, they're asking you what is the initial price of the chair. So for A, the initial price of the chair is always your A value. My A value is 2,500, so that is the initial price of the chair. Explain how you know it's the y-intercept value. So another thing you could do if you weren't sure, if you wanted another method to find that, now this is not, you don't have to do it this way. You could always graph the equation, which we're going to need anyway. We're going to graph the equation into our calculator. You're going to put y1 is 2,500, and then your 0.8, which is your b value, to the power of x. Change your window to make sense. So your X represents the number of weeks that you are selling this item. So you're going to say maybe from 0 weeks to, for example, we can try like 50 weeks. And we can always adjust it if we don't see enough of this. And for Y, that would be your cost. Y represents your cost of this item. So we can say from $0 to, we know initially it's going to be $2,500, but if you weren't sure, you can always set it to like $5,000 and then graph it. Okay, so when I graph it, I get like this value right here. And to find your y-intercept graphically, you just have to, on your calculators, press trace 0 enter. So trace 0 enter. So I have again a different version calculator, so I have to press a little bit more buttons, but this is another way of doing it. So you can go trace, you enter a 0, press enter, and then your y value, which is really small right there. So I just want to show you again. So I'm pressing trace 0 enter, and I get the y coordinate, which is 2,500. Okay, so that matches your a value in your equation. Okay, so that's A. And that should be similar. We'll go to the one in your assignment just to compare and say if it's the same kind of idea. B, after which week did the chair cost less than half of its initial price? So we know initially the cost of the chair was $2,500. What you want to do is you want it to cost less than half. So you want to start with half by dividing this number by 2. Okay, so all you're doing is dividing 2,500 by 2, and you get $1,250. So that is what you're putting into your C of T. This is your new cost, 1,250. So you're trying to find out when it is half of its initial. So that's what you're going to put into your calculator. You're going to go y1 equals, the right side of the equation is 2,500, 0.8 to the power of t, and your y2 value is that value that you just determined, which is half of the initial, 1,250. So you're going to go to your graphing calculator and put 1,250 into y2. So I'm going to go to Y2 in my calculator, put 1,250, graph it. And if you have the right window, you should see that the two graphs intersect. So you want to find the intersection between the two graphs by going second trace number 5. Okay, so second trace number 5. And what they want you to do is figure out and just go as close as possible by moving your cursor left or right to the intersection point. And all you guys have to do is press enter 3 times. Okay, so to repeat, I do second trace number 5, press enter 3 times. Okay, so enter, enter, enter. My calculator is something else, of course. This is not like this is like the cheap version of a graphing calculator, so it doesn't always work. And then once you press enter 3 times, you're going to see that it gives you this intersection point. So mine is like, it's the x coordinate that you need to look at. Okay, so x coordinate. Now we want to figure out when the amount is less than 1250, so you're going to have to round up. So even though my calculator says x is equal to 3.1, I'm going to have to round it up to 4 weeks. So I'm going to always have to round it up if they want you to go either above a certain amount or below a certain amount. So you're going to round up. Okay, so for my answer, I'm going to have to, so I'm just going to write down the steps here so you guys can see that. I had to press second trace number 5. Once I found the intersection, I pressed enter. I went as close to the intersection as possible and I pressed enter 3 times. Once you do that, you'll get the x coordinate, which mine was 3.1. But since in the question they want the cost to be less than half, because my graph is going downwards, I'm going to have to round up. So round up, and that means that it's going to take 4 weeks for your chair to cost less than half of its initial price. Okay? And that is B. So that's like similar to, I'll show you again what it looks like in your assignment. Question C, it says Eric bought the chair for $655.36, $655.36, just after the price was reduced. At the end of which week did Eric buy the chair? Okay, so what we're doing is we're putting that into your Y2 value instead. Okay, so again, they're trying to find the time. So we want to put in Y2 as 655.36. So I'm just kind of showing you how it will be similar to your assignment. So same example as B, you're going to go Y2 instead is 655.36. Okay, so same exact steps as B. Go to your graphing calculator, go to Y2, clear whatever you have there and put 655.36. Yeah, and then you want to graph it and find this intersection. So same steps as above, second trace number 5. Go as close to the intersection as you can, press enter, enter, and enter until you get the intersection, and mine is 6 weeks. So it's going to take 6 weeks for the amount to reach $655.36. Okay, so the x coordinate is your answer there. This value right here, your b value, you're just going to go 1 minus 0.8. Okay, so from that b value, you're going 1 minus 0.8, and that's going to give you 0.2. So the 0.2 is your percentage. That is your interest rate. Okay, so if you multiply by 100, that's going to give you 20% interest rate. So that's what they want for B. Now, I'm not doing the one that they gave you. I'm just giving you a similar example. Okay, so all you're doing is you're going 1 minus that B value. So this is my B value, guys. And from there, you should be able to find the decimal value. And once you find the decimal, multiply by 100 to get your percentage rate. Okay? So that's for B. C, it says use the equation to find the amount of money to the nearest dollar in the account after 15 years. What they want you to do is they're giving you time, T, as 15 years. You just have to substitute and solve for the missing A of T. So you're solving for A of T here. D, how many years to the nearest whole year will it take for the account to have at least $4,000? Now you are substituting A of T for $4,000, and you're trying to find the intersection. So that's similar to what I did for question, what was it, B and C, right? Mrs. Swain, am I still cutting out? I just tried to redo something.
No, it's all good now. It's good.
Okay, perfect. Good. Okay. So that should help you. Hopefully that helps you for your example number 4. Okay, so use the equation that they gave you, find the initial amount using that example I just gave you, and then the interest rate, 1 minus what you see as your B value. Your A of T, you just have to substitute T equals 15 and solve for that. And for D, you are substituting A of T as 4,000 and solving for the intersection. So that's similar to what I did for, let me go back. That is similar to question B and C. Okay, so if you've understood what I did for B and C, do the same thing to get that answer. Any questions about that one so far? Okay, is there something you're still not understanding to do? Just write me in the chat and I can explain or give you another example if you guys need a little bit more clarification to be able to do number 4. Okay, let me know. If not, then I will go on to number 5. So question 5 in your assignment is similar to this one here. So this one, you're going to need your graphing calculator to be able to do this. Okay, so in your graphing calculator, there's a lot of buttons, so you just have to kind of follow the steps when you're doing this. So in your calculator, you guys are going to have to press second plus sign. Now, again, I have a different calculator than you. So to reset my charts, I go second plus sign, number 4, and then I press enter. Okay, so I'll repeat that. So this is, I can't show you on my screen, but what I can do is if you go to my face, I'm just going to show you what you want to do there. Let me make myself bigger. There you go. Okay, so I'll just try to show you what I'm doing in my calculator, and then I'll go to the other calculator because I can do all the other buttons except for this one. So you're going to press second plus sign. It takes you to this menu. Then you're going to go to number 4, and you're going to press enter. Oops, not that. Enter. Okay, and it'll say done. So what that does is it restarts your chart. So if you ever do a question, it will restart it where there's nothing there. It's like a clearing up kind of thing. It clears up everything that was there to begin with so that you're not messing up your values. Okay, next you're going to press stat. Okay, so this is where I can actually mimic it on my calculator. So now you're going to press stat, edit. And as you can see, I have all these chart values, which I'm going to have to manually delete, and it's a pain in the butt. So that's what you guys are doing by pressing stat, or by pressing second plus sign and then going through number 4. It deletes all this and it saves you a ton of time, because this I hate. So clear, clear, clear. I'm just clearing everything that is in there by deleting all my entries from my previous example that I did. Okay, so what you guys want to do is you want to enter your list into here. So I'm gonna have to pull mine up and refer to it. Okay, so you're always entering your X coordinates into L1. So for example, mine is gonna be year. And the example that I'm doing is year. So this is the example that I'm doing right here, where I'm putting the year into L1 and the population into L2. Okay, so I'm going to enter 1970, 1980, the years. Now, you'll just use the numbers that they give you in that chart for number 5. 1990, 2000, and 2010. Then you go into L2 and you enter your Y coordinates, which is the next thing. For mine, it's population, 3.91. 4.52. No. 5.22, 6.03, and 6.97. Okay, so you want to enter those into your list. Once you have them entered, the first question will say, use the exponential regression to get the equation. So we need to determine the exponential equation for this. So in my calculator, I'm just going to show you, make sure you can see my face. I just want to show you because it's slightly, again, different values or different buttons that I'm pressing. You're going to press stat. You're going to go to the right using this button right here where it says calc. You're going to highlight that and you're going to scroll down until you see exponential regression. And for you guys, it's 0. So you can always press 0, enter. So once I do that, that will create that exponential regression. And so I'll do it with mine. So stat, calc to the right. Like I said, it's different numbers for me. You guys are doing 0 and then pressing enter until it calculates it for you. And then you should get an equation. For me, I'm getting this equation because I have an example given, but you're going to get a different equation because you're using the one from your assignment to try this out. All you need is your A and B values. It doesn't matter if there's any other values. So A and B is all you want to do. And then you want to write those values down. Okay, so I have, don't forget if there's like this letter E in there. So if there's this letter E, that just means 10 to the power of something. So just keep that in mind. So I'm going to write my equation as y equals, it was 1.72 times 10 to the power of, because of this E value, I have an E to the power of -12. So that just means 10 to the power of -12. It's a really, really small value. That's all all that means. You just have to be able to copy it down. And then you want to write your B value. So I have 1.01 in brackets to the power of x. That's all you have to do for exponential regression, is put that into your L1, L2, go to stat, calc, 0 for you guys. Okay, and then when you press enter, it will give you the A and B that you're filling in. So it's always in the form y equals A times B to the power of x. Okay, so that's what you're filling in. For C in this case, they're going to ask you 2 types of questions. They're either going to give you the x coordinate and you have to find the y, or they're going to give you the y and you have to find the x. In this case, they are giving us the year 2020, so that's an x value. And they want you to find what y is equal to. Okay, so how you do that is you first have to press these buttons. Once you get this, this equation, you're going to have to go to y equals. You're going to press that. Then you're going to press vars. There's a button called vars. You're going to go to number 5, and I'll show you those buttons again. I'll show you by pressing them as well. 5, and then it says statistics. So you press 5, and then you go to the right where it says equation. So I'll go through that just one more time for you guys to show you those numbers. So I'm just going to enter into my calculator so you guys can see the equation I'm getting as well. Okay, almost done. Okay, so go to me And I'll just show you, again, my calculator is slightly different, so I just wanted to show you with this real calculator how that looks like. So once you have the equation, remember I'm pressing, this is the equation, just to repeat what I'm doing for B. I went to the right, so I went stat, calc, 0. You press 0. That's a quick way of getting there. And what it does is it gives you this, and you can just press enter until it calculates the equation for you. Okay, so this is the equation. Like it said, it matches the one that I had into my on my other calculator. Then you're going to press y equals. Okay, what you're doing is you're copying and pasting this equation. So y equals. It takes you here. Then you're going to press vars right there. Number 5, statistics. Press number 5. Okay, and then you go to the right until you see equation, and it's number 1 that you care for, regression equation. Press enter for number 1, or just press 1. Those are your 2 choices. What that does is it takes your equation and it copies it in for you guys. So that way you're not going to have any errors with the answer you get. Because if you put in one wrong answer or one wrong number by copying, then you're going to get possibly a different response than me, right? So you want to copy and paste it. Once you have that done, you're going to go to your window and you're going to change your window according to your numbers that you have. X represents my year. So I know that I'm going from the year 1970. I'm writing 1970 up to the year 2010. But because my question says that I want the year, I want to be able to solve for the year 2020. I need to go above 2010, which is from my chart. Okay, so my chart goes up to 2010, but I want to go higher than that. So I'm gonna make this slightly higher. I'm gonna go up to 2030, so it doesn't cut my value off. So that's my X values. Now the Y's, my lowest value was for population 3.91 in the chart. This is given in the chart. So use the numbers that they have, 3.91. It's writing backwards is hard. Okay. And for my Y max, I don't want to stop at the highest value, which was 6.97. I want to go above it so I don't cut it off. So let's go up to maybe 10. Okay, so I'm going to clear what I got there. Actually, it was 10, so I could have left it there. And this is 10 billion. So these are 10 billion people. I'm going from 3.91 billion to 10 billion. Okay, and once I change my window, I should graph it, and I should be able to see an exponential equation being formed. Okay, so this is what you want. You want to be able to see your graph by adjusting your window. Now, the question wants you to find year 2020. So you're going to press the button trace, and then you're going to put 2020. So trace 2020. Press enter, and that will give you your answer. The Y answer is your final answer. So this is my Y coordinate, and it is 8.05 billion people. So that's how many people will be, that's what the population will be in 2020. 8.05 billion people. Okay, and they wanted to 2 decimal places. So that's what the question was saying. Okay, so I'll go back to the notes just to show you.
Well, there's part of her. Oh, there you are.
And you want to press enter. And for mine, it gave me the Y.
Oh, you're cutting in and out again.
you, you have to copy and paste the equation you got from B into your y equals. Once you have the equation in there, you just have to change your window to be able to see the answer of 2020. And then I just pressed trace x equals 2020 and I pressed enter. And that gave me the answer of the y value. And for D, guys, if the growth remains the same, when would you expect the population to reach 9.5 billion people? So now they're giving us a y value. So population is always y in this case, and x is the year. So they're giving us a y of 9.5. You don't have to put the 0 after the 50. So you can just put 9.5, or you can put that. It doesn't really matter. Okay, so that can be there or not. Whenever they give you a y value, you're going to have y1 will be your exponential equation, that 1.72 times e to the power of negative 12, 1.01 to the power of x. And then your y2 will be the 9.5 billion people. So you need to enter a y coordinate into y2. And what you want to find is the intersection between these. Okay, so the intersection, I'm just going to show you in my calculator what that looks like. Hoping this works well. Okay, so I have the equation already into y1, guys. So you don't have to do anything there. You just have to go into y2 and put 9.5 billion. Okay, so that is the 9.5. Now our graph, remember it went from, let's check our y value to make sure that we can see that. For our window, our value went from y coordinate being 3.91 and 10. So you will be able to see 9.5 because our value of 9.5 is between those two values there. Now you graph it, and you just want to find that intersection point. As you can see, it's slightly cut off, which means that I need more of my x maximum. So my window, I'm just going to have to increase the years. Instead of stopping at 2030, let's go up to 2050. So I'm just adjusting my window to be able to see that intersection point. There it is. Now you press second trace, number 5, and I just want to press enter 3 times. If there's only one intersection, you just have to press enter 3 times, or you can move as close as you can to it and then press enter 3 times. Enter, enter, enter. In this case, the x coordinate is my answer. So we're going to have the year 2031.4, which, let's read the question. We want the population to reach that value and not be less than this. So I'm going to round up. So I'm going to round it to 2032. So I'm going to round the year to be 2032. Let me just present my screen. Okay, so I have the intersection was x equals 2031, but because I want it to actually reach this population, my answer will be 2032. Okay, so that would be my answer for that example. So I'm just going to go to the actual assignment just to see if there's any differences to what you guys have. So exponential assignment. Like I said, for this one, it's similar. Your year will be your L1. So this is your assignment here. Your population will be your L2. The first question, they just want you to write the equation that you see. Now, A and B, remember A is going to be given and B is going to be given. Just round your answer to the nearest hundredth, meaning 2 decimal places. Okay, so 2 decimal places. And it's up to you if you want to do what they're saying, putting this as 0, 0, etc. You can write it exactly how you see it. L1, L2. They want you to calculate the population to the nearest whole number in 1985. So in this case, they're giving you the X value of 1985, and you need to solve for the Y coordinate, right? So that's going to be similar to what we did. And then that was the second last question where they gave us the year 2020, and we had to solve for the population. And the last one for C, they're giving us the Y value, which is 1 million. And that's going to be your Y2. And you just need to find the intersection between what you got in A and 1 million. And once you find that, the year, just make sure you round up in this case because you want to make sure the year actually reaches 1 million people. Okay, so that is that for example number 5. Okay, so what I'll do is I'll post this chat, but stay online if you guys need any assistance or if you want even more examples or if you want me to go through a step a little bit with more depth because I just switched to my phone hotspot, so it shouldn't cut out, I'm hoping. Okay, so come on chat, ask me a question, guys. If you understand how to do your assignment, good luck, and then you guys can finish that and hand that in to me. So that's all for this week that I wanted to do with you is just those 2 examples. And from now on, I'm going to use just my cell phone hotspot, and hopefully that solves my internet issues. Thank you so much for joining me, guys. I know it's not easy to like put away time and it's so nice outside. You'd rather be outside. So once you're done this, get outside and enjoy your day and have a good weekend. Actually, it's Wednesday. Never mind. Tomorrow, come back and finish your assignment. It is due tomorrow, okay? And then enjoy the rest of your weekend, okay? So come on to chat if you have any more questions for me or you want me to go through any of the examples again for you if you missed something, okay? So I will post this video if you want to pause it and look back to what steps I did if you didn't understand something. Thanks, guys. So